let's take a look at some real cursed and haunted items that you can buy online. People that have bought these items have become possessed, cursed, and others have wound up dead. Would you buy one of these items? Let's find out only in today's video. Starting off this countdown, we have Jeffrey Dahmer's jacket. Yes, you heard me. Someone owned Jeffrey Dahmer's jacket and sold it online on eBay. So the person that sold this claimed that he was in the same class as Jeffrey Dahmer at Revere High in Bath, Ohio. In senior year, they were doing a comedy act, and during the performance, they needed an army jacket. So they asked the audience if anyone had a jacket. Jeffrey Dahmer was like, yo, I do, it's in my car. It was probably the jacket of one of his victims. So he went and he got the jacket and he gave it to the actors to then use in the show. The seller used it for the performance, and after the show, Jeffrey said for him to just keep the jacket. Probably so he got rid of evidence that way, you know what I'm saying? The seller was then cleaning his family home when he found the jacket in one of the bins in the attic. Now, at this point, he knew who Jeffrey was, what he had done, so he didn't want to keep it, and he didn't want to obviously donate it. He wanted to make some money off of the dude's crimes, which is terrible, and sold it online to some sick fan. Moving on to number 9, we have the haunted teddy bears. There are so many haunted dolls or haunted bears or plushies on eBay or other websites that it's crazy. This bear is apparently haunted by a little blonde boy named Oliver. Oliver likes to move the teddy around. So you could set it down at one place, and in the morning you could wake up and it's in another place. The seller even apparently used an Ouija board to contact the spirit that was possessing the bear. And they learned that the boy possessing the bear is shy and playful, but also he's scared. Apparently, according to Oliver, he got the bear for his 10th birthday as a gift, but soon his parents were like, whoa, this bear is possessed, we need to get rid of it. And whatever was possessing that bear originally killed Oliver. And then Oliver got latched onto the bear. That is so scary. Moving on to number 8, we have the haunted tap shoes. According to the seller, the shoes were in a nursery closet in their late aunt's estate. When they first were exploring the estate, they heard knocking coming from inside the closet. When they opened the closet to see what was in there, it was just the shoes. So they took them home. First of all, why? Second, why would you? Anyways, they did that, and at night they would hear the shoes tapping. Later, it was revealed that the shoes were haunted by a girl named Lisa. In the end, they ended up selling the shoes. I don't know for how much, and I don't know why someone would buy it, but that's something you give to Ed and Lorraine Warren, you know? They'll take care of it. And at number 7, we have the Hands Resist Him. This painting is said to be one of the most haunted paintings in the world. Story goes that this painting was created in 1972 by an artist named Bill Stoneham. Over the years, it has been bought and sold on eBay a number of times. That's because no one wants to keep it themselves. Why? Because it's that cursed. It first appeared on eBay in 2000. The seller said they needed it gone ASAP because it was terrorizing their family. Apparently, their daughter was most affected by it. The daughter said that the boy and the doll in the picture would often fight each other. They also always got weird vibes around the painting, so they ended up setting up a motion detector around it. The camera ended up capturing the boy leaving the freaking painting, or so they claim. Anyways, they sold it, and the next seller said that the painting made them feel ill or dizzy when they were around it. So then they sold it, and then the next seller said that they heard an exorcist type voice after viewing the painting, so on and so on. So people keep buying the painting, I guess, to see the hauntedness for themselves, and then they're like, oh my god, it is haunted, it's scary, and then they sell it. So don't buy this painting. I don't know where it is. Coming in at number 6, we have the haunted doll carriage. This next story will give you the creeps. Basically, a family in Brandon, Missouri was gifted this antique doll carriage for their daughter for Christmas. Whitney Merritt, the mom, said the carriage was gifted to them from her mom, who got it from a friend of a friend. So they probably all knew it was haunted and just kept pawning it off on each other. As soon as they received this carriage, scary things started happening. It started with knocking. Every so often they would hear creepy knocking on the walls. One night it got so bad that it sounded like somebody was up in their attic walking around. This lasted for a week, and then the second week, the paranormal activity started to pick up. They would wake up in the middle of the night to sounds of stuff being knocked over. When they would investigate, they found that their mugs would be shattered all over the kitchen. This entity broke so many things in their family home. The third week is when it got the worst. That's when Whitney actually saw the spirit that was attached to the carriage. She was just hanging around when she saw a person walk past the door and into the kitchen. She turned around quickly and the entity disappeared. Anyways, they ended up figuring out that it all led back to that carriage, so they're like, screw this, and they put it outside. And what do you know? The paranormal activity stopped. So she ended up listing it on eBay, and somebody reached out to her and was like, yo, I know this carriage, I know the backstory. Apparently, the carriage was once owned by a woman whose husband died in a motorcycle accident. So they think that his spirit latched onto it, and that was the spirit that she saw in her kitchen. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the statue. According to the seller, their friend got this statue back in the 1980s. So he used to work doing brickyard work, and he would take the unhardened clay, and during his time off, he would sculpt and paint them. Some other workers would do the same thing as well to pass time. This sculpture was made by one worker named William. He claimed that the bust was a self-portrait. Sadly, that very day, he was involved in a tragic accident and he got crushed to death. His spirit apparently latched onto the sculpture that he made. So then the seller took his friend's sculpture home with him, to preserve the memory of his friend. It's the last thing he did. That night, he woke up to the sound of someone walking around his house in circles. He checked his home, but no one was there. Later on, other weird things started to happen. Like he would hear the sound of doors slamming shut, but no doors would actually be closed. The scariest thing, though, is one night he saw a dark mist moving near his den's wall. He walked in, and the room felt heavy and uninviting. Later, he linked everything back to the statue. In fact, his dogs wouldn't even go near the statue. So he got rid of it and sold it, so it's somebody else's problem. Coming in at number 4, we have the Memoire Box. Just by looking at this, you know it's cursed. Just saying. Apparently, this is an old Memoire Box found inside of an old Victorian home during an estate sale. That's red flag number 2 that is haunted. For some reason, these people went to the attic of the estate sale and came across this box, along with some old children's clothes and scrapbooks. It was filled with things like other people's hair, and they wanted to buy it. So yeah, the box was filled with random stuff like a tin monkey, locks of hair, small pieces of paper, and some books. On one of the locks of hair, there's a small slip of paper that read, "Died March 14th, 1920, Little Edgar." Even after that, they're like, yeah, sure, we got dead boy hair, let's buy it. Now, apparently they had every intention on keeping the box until it started freaking them out. The seller's dog would just stare at it randomly. The dog also wouldn't go near the box. And they started to experience really bad luck. So they got rid of it. Moving on to number 3, we have another haunted bear. This bear can be purchased for only 16 pounds. It's possessed by a little girl named Sarah. According to the paranormal investigator and collector who once owned the bear, Sarah went missing from an adventure playground one day and was never found. Later on, it was found that Sarah's mom was using this bear to speak to her dead daughter. The seller of this bear also went on to say that Sarah likes to communicate through EVP and on a number of occasions has moved the bear on her own, especially on April 28th, which is the anniversary of her death. That's when the paranormal activity is most active. And at number 2, we have the Dybbuk Box. Dybbuk boxes are known to contain a malicious spirit that can and will possess you. In Jewish mythology, a Dybbuk is a malicious spirit that is said to be a disturbed soul of a deceased person. The seller said that he got the box off of an elderly man in South Carolina. This man apparently collects Dybbuk boxes. This man is also probably really cursed. His collection got so big that he put some of the boxes in his crawl space. After doing so, he said it sounded like someone was moving under his house. Every day at 3 a.m., he would hear what sounded like somebody crawling underneath there. Whenever he went down to check on this specific box, he felt a cool, heavy air surrounding it. On top of that, his dog often growled at the box and at the crawl space. Lastly, he said he heard knocking and whispers of children talking coming from this box. Because of that, he said he was only going to sell this box to an experienced collector, because in the wrong hands, it could go very bad. And in our number 1 spot today we have the Haunted Watch. So this watch is apparently stuck at 11:29 p.m. According to the seller, the person they received the watch from told them that a 24-year-old woman named Julie once owned this watch. One day she was headed out for a run, and so she took off her watch and she placed it down on the table. She never returned home. She ended up getting kidnapped on her run, and her kidnapper killed her at 11:29 p.m. the same time that the watch is stuck at. That is absolutely terrifying, but there's more. Somebody took the watch to a medium to see if the seller was lying about this story. Without telling the medium anything about this watch, she said that a woman named Julie is attached to it. How did she know that? How? The seller also said that whenever they go near it, the temperature around them drops, even in the hottest weather. In the end, they sold this watch for $17.50. So, probably the cheapest haunted item on eBay. Alright folks, that's all for today's video. You can let me know in the comments below which one of these objects you found the scariest. All of them. And while you're down there, make sure you smash that like button. Obviously, subscribe to my channel because I'm almost at 100K. Huge giveaway at 100K. You have to be subscribed. Telling you right now. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan. Stick around for some bloopers if there is any, and I'll show you when I show you. Bye. At Revere High School Oh, but also he used to do brickyard work and would take unhardened clay. This sculpture